Hello, um, my name is Edith. I'm from South Africa, and I decided to share this video with everyone, especially women. Um, this is about what is happening now in South Africa. There's a lot of increase in women abuse in South Africa. Women are raped, abused, and eventually killed by their own partners. The numbers are increasing. Um, I felt that I should share my experience so that I can warn women as well about the signs of abuse. We know that abuse comes in different forms. It comes, there's physical abuse, there's emotional abuse, there's emotional, there's verbal abuse, and there are other types of abuse that I cannot mention here. I thought of focusing on emotional abuse, the signs, and what it can do. I'm going to release videos not at the same time, but this one in particular, because it is the first video, it is more of an introduction. It is more of my background before I can actually, record other videos as well. The reason of recording this video is because of the path that I've walked in my relationship, in my marriage, and what I've experienced as young as I was, and where I am now. As I've said that I am from South Africa, I'm a South African, and I am currently divorced, and I am a Christian woman. So the form of abuse, you get it as well from the church. It is done indirectly, and I feel that women are oppressed also in church, and this is a place where we run to as women. We run to our pastors, we run to our ministers, we run to you know leaders, church leaders for help, especially if it's something that is happening in your marriage, something that is happening in your home. You, as a Christian, you will actually run to those people for assistance because you trust that they will apply the Bible principle to remedy the situation. This does not mean that there is no form of abuse around among men. You do get women that abuse their own spouses, they abuse their own husbands for some reasons, and that also I do recognize as a serious problem. In this video, what I want to share is the abuse towards the women. Sorry, my mom is here, and she's actually listening to me, and I know this is a topic that has affected her as well. She has a background in this, but this is not about her, this is not about me. The intention of this video is to warn especially the young girls, the young women out there who are not in any form of relationship, or who are in a relationship but intending to maybe to get married. I want them to actually learn from this and open their eyes and see the telltale signs of an abusive partner, or would I say emotionally abusive partner, because with emotional abuse you don't actually see the scars of a woman, because this is something that affects a person emotionally. It is an internalized type of pain that is not clearly visible to the public. Well, as I said, that this is my first release of the video, and I hope that it will help somebody out there. And to be honest, I'm still actually recovering from the pain. I'm not 100%, I'm not recovered, but with everything I trust God, and for strength that I'll be able to recover fully. But during my recovery, as I progress, I will share what I experience. I will share what I come across, so that somebody out there can actually, learn something from this. Well, I met my partner when I was 18 years. I was turning 19 in that year. He was my senior. He was 7 years older than me, and he was already in university. I think he was doing his first year. I was already in high school, 1 year ahead of me to complete high school. He was a very influential, charming person. Matured. He was, he looked stable, strong, and what actually attracted me to him was the fact that I picked up he was like smart, he was intelligent, he had the wisdom that I didn't have. And as a growing young girl, relationship in those days, it was not something that you would be taught in school or something that would be talked about at home. It was a taboo thing, even if you meet a boy, a boyfriend, somebody you like, it wasn't easy for you to share, even with your mother or your father. It was like a taboo thing. Yes, and the first year I met him, I didn't actually fall in love instantly. I was kind of shy. Until the next year, the following year, when he actually really told me that he's interested in me, loves me, and then he told me things about life, about the future, about the careers. And I remember I wanted to be a nurse then, and I never knew about other options, career options. And then he exposed me to all those areas, and I was kind of, impressed with the way he was teaching me things, and I became comfortable. And I told my mom, Mom, I met somebody, and he told me that he will take me to school and things like that. But just a bit of a background, my mom then was a domestic worker. She was separated from my father, so I was raised by a stepmother, and my upbringing was not so 100%. There were things that lack in my upbringing as a young girl. It was difficult to actually go through stages of life just with your father on your side, and your mother, your stepmother, who would actually not be available to meet you and teach you about certain things as a girl. And my mom, as far as she was in communication, was a barrier, because we relied on letters, snail mail, they call it. We relied on that. Telephones were not so popular then, or even cell phones. We didn't even have cell phones, they were not there at that time. So I was growing up learning things by myself and experiencing things on my own, without any form of guidance. But then the next year when we met, we took our relationship to a next level, and he introduced me to his parents, and it was quite an experience on my side, and well, it gave me hope. But then eventually, when I reached the time when I had to go and do my university studies, and I already told my mother that I will study in Cape Town, and I went to Cape Town to study there, and I studied my secretarial course. so that it can actually, help me um, to learn more about computers. That basically, because you come from a rural setting and you go to an urban setting, you actually learn that there's things beyond what you know. And that's when I changed my focus, career focus, to be more on the business side, and I started to do business studies from home through correspondence. And by the age of 21, I was engaged, and during that same year, I just completed one of the courses in my within the secretarial course that I was doing. It was about 18 months long, the duration of the course. There were other elements that I needed to learn, like typing and etc., as well as business writing skills that were part of the course. Before I knew, then I was pregnant, and with my first child, and that was very difficult for me, because knowing my father, he did not believe in pregnancy before marriage, and I kept that a secret from him, but my mom knew about it. I told my mom about the pregnancy, and by the time the child was born, I already completed another course, a second course, and I graduated that year with my son, or within that course, and my son was born the next month. And my career started, and I was very excited, and I worked I got a job for the first time with one of the state companies as a secretary to the deputy director. It was exciting for me because being a rural girl, and I was starting to see things now in a better direction, and I was ambitious. I needed to study further. I needed to complete a lot in my career as I was studying. Well, the things and the signs that I started to see within my relationship was the fact that my ex now would actually visit me at work without notice. Well, not that is wrong, but as a secretary, there were meetings that I had to attend. I had to take minutes. I had to there were things that I was involved with that needed my undivided attention. But I was always open during lunchtime for him to visit, but then it wasn't easy when he comes before the lunchtime, and he would maybe find me in the office busy with maybe other office related duties, and sometimes there were things that I needed to submit before a certain time, and then at the same time I would have to attend to him, but I made sure that I attend to him at the same time, although it wasn't easy. And this persisted. It is something that happened on a continuous basis until such time he came to me to say that he got me a job somewhere else, and upon inquiring about this job, he said no, it is closer to him, at least we'll go to lunch together. He already arranged with somebody. So a few days later, I received a call that I must come for an interview, and I went for an interview, and only to find that it is a call center position that I did not even apply for. And I was already comfortable with what I was doing as a secretary. It was now like almost a year working there. But in any case, because I needed to please, or to actually save the relationship, I decided to resign there, and then I started working in the next company. And the position that I had to do was actually a lower position compared to the position I was in. and taking into consideration the opportunities that are out there I would have received being in that position that I was in. But for the sake of the relationship, I decided to resign. While I was serving the resignation, he came one day home to tell me that, tomorrow we need to get married because his employers needed the child's information, like it must be in his name so that he can be added for medical insurance. I said, okay, but my parents are not aware of this. He said, no, we will still do a big celebration, and we're just doing it for the sake of the child so that he can receive medical insurance. And I found that it is appropriate at that time, but my parents did not actually bless the marriage or come to the marriage. Even his parents did not. It was just us and the priest and few friends who came to be witnesses. And then we were married. Fast forward, after the so-called wedding, it wasn't really a wedding because he gave me money just to go buy a dress. I just had to dress up in just a formal way, and he had a suit, and yeah, that was it. And fast forward, he went to my parents to pay the bride price. It was accepted, and lest they know that we already married in court, and we were already husband and wife. But the signs that I missed in that first year, being together with him, like staying as a husband and a wife, is the fact that he did not respect my parents. He did not respect my family. He just decided to marry me without their consent or permission. Taking control of my career, making decisions for me, for my career, to just decide and tell me that I should leave a job and go to a job that he chose. And thirdly, his family, something I didn't mention, that his family never accepted me as his wife. They took me as a gold digger, like I came for his money and all that. Lest they know my background, they didn't know my background, what kind of family I came from, but they just assumed that I came to just eat his money. So we lived in a separate budget. He had his budget, I had my budget, and that did not bother him because it was something that his family would constantly tell him that he must be careful about me. And another sign was isolating me from my family. He would insist that we stay together without the visits from the family. Even if the family visit our place or our home, he would be against that. He didn't like it when my mom visit or my sister to come and see me. And if maybe I insisted and allowed them to come to our house, it would be a problem once they leave. And he also told me that I should avoid, family and friends because they are the ones that are a danger to our life or our progress or our family. Being as young as I was, and I found myself listening to everything that he was saying. I believed everything that he was saying, even though, some of the things I would think deep to and ask myself, what do these things really mean? But lest did I know that those were signs of actually trying to gain control of my mind and controlling my life and controlling everything about me without me actually realizing. My contract with the new job, because that was a not a permanent job, it was a contract, the job that I had to take, so it ended and I actually had to sit home without income. So at that time, that's when he told me that he would actually like me to be a stay-home mom. He would support me financially and buy the things that I needed. I don't need to work. But I said yes, but in my mind I told myself that this is not happening, because I needed to grow my career, I needed to progress in my career, but I kept it to myself. And I started to develop myself. I started to register for more courses, short courses, and because I couldn't do university course because of the required deposits, the amount of money that was required, that the money that actually I would have to consult with him in order to do it. And not that I did not even begin to consult with him, I did. And each time that asked him that I want to go to university and further my studies, he would say I must wait until we have money. But I realized that this was something that he was using, or a game that he was playing against me, that I must not study. And I remembered as I put the puzzle pieces together that he initially told me that I must be a stay-home mom. So I had to do my studies, in secret. And by this time, I was already pregnant with a second child. I was busy with evangelism. My work, actually being unemployed, was to do the evangelism and being active in church, to whatever that is needed in church. And yeah, and you would go to work and work and come back. So it was like everyday life. Fast forward, during my trimester, the last trimester of my pregnancy, he would start acting up, and I remember one night actually, he came with a lady, and from work. That was like after 8 at night. He only came back from work at that time, and with this lady came inside the house. And I was not expecting a visitor. I was clumsy, and everything was all over the place at that time. I was tired, and this lady was like staring at me, rolling her eyes. And then my ex told me that no, they were just stepping in, they are leaving, he's taking the lady home. He never introduced the lady to me. All I could see was the body language that there is something between him and the lady, but I could not put my finger on it. But even that, I never even questioned, because every time if I question things such as these, especially I'm in my last trimester, I didn't want to stir up trouble for the sake of the baby, and I just had to let it go. So he would do things like that for continuously, but this affected me in a way, because I felt disrespected. My space was not respected, and my feelings were not respected. But the fact that I was in my last trimester, at that time, that's a time in life we don't need anything that will stress you. But eventually I found strength to ask him about the lady, who she was, and he told me no, it's nothing to worry about. And I must just obviously what he was trying to say, I must just accept the fact that this lady will come and go as she wishes, and I don't even know her. Immediately when the child was born, 4 months later, I started to apply for another job, and then 4 months later, by God's grace, the child was big enough, and I had to go back to work again. And this time I got a job in an educational institution. This institution allowed the staff members to actually study for free. I took advantage, and I studied further with them as well, although the courses I was doing were more like um, short courses, but they were adding up to my for my advantage. And we started to split the budget, because I'm back to work now. He told me that he will only pay the car and the mortgage, and 80% of the household needs were actually on my budget, and I will be left with nothing to save. And I never even had an opportunity to save money because I will always run to a surplus. My mom will always encourage me to save money, but it wasn't easy for me to tell her that I'm not able to save because of these reasons. And sometime later, and the family members, they went to another province and they came back. And when they came back with his child from his ex relationship or past relationship. And they, they brought the child to him, and then they made a decision as a family that the child must be raised by me. They brought the child to me without any notice. The child was about 6 years old, a boy, and that day, I cried because it's something that I was not expecting, and knowing the situation at home financially and all that. So yeah, they just told me that no, this is your child now. He must start calling you mama, and things like those. You have to prepare yourself mentally as a woman. Not that I didn't want this child, no, but it's something that I needed to prepare myself. That okay, there is a child coming. We agreed. These are the terms, and this is how the budget is going to look like now going forward. This is how we're going to sleep, or this is how, the changes, the adjustments in the home. Those things needed to be discussed. Now this sudden change actually affected me. I felt that I was disrespected. My inputs in the matter were we ignored. And over and above, beside the child that was brought in, we were already raising his sister's daughter, who came to us when she was 3 years old, whom I took in as my own as well. And they both had to grow up together with my kids. And his son left when he was 18. He grew up. I had to raise him, and around 18, that's when he started telling me that I'm not his mom. I'm not going to tell him what to do. So I could not actually instruct him anything. So I became so depressed, because you can't have a child that you cannot discipline, and that child calls you mother. I took the child as mine, and somehow the child, based on what the child was saying, and when he was, saying words to me, I could pick up that the child actually heard these things from somewhere. And I learned over the course of time that every Saturday when my ex visits the family, he would like take his kids with along with him, and while they are with the family, the in-laws, I mean, they will actually talk about me, what a bad mother I am, what a bad wife I am, and the fact that my ex should actually take another wife and divorce me. Those were the things that were discussed, and I could pick up as I put the puzzle together that based on his actions towards me, his behavior towards me, there was more to it, but I just didn't know what was happening. I am naturally a quiet person. I have a quiet spirit. I'm not a person that likes to argue or likes to, engage in any form of argument, unless really there is, a factor, that causes that. But if there's nothing, I would always, be submissive. And also, while I was receiving, lessons from church as a woman, as I was growing spiritually, there were things that I would pick up that, okay, I need to adjust here. Most of the time I found myself being the one that is at fault. I would blame myself that I'm a bad wife or I'm a bad woman, things like those. I didn't actually look at the things as they are. As my focus was to correct my steps, was to change me instead of trying to change him. Although I could pick up that he, on his side, also he had, flaws, but it's not easy when you are a Christian woman to actually question such things. You would actually maybe go seek advice from the elders and report to the elders, look, this is what I see, and I just need advice. You wouldn't actually even approach your husband in that matter. You would have to find wisdom to approach matters like that. And most of the time then, because of the things that I'm hearing, I would go into my room and pray, and sometimes I would cry, and cry to myself, like, why are these things happening? And during my pregnancy, the emotional trauma reached, a peak, because there's a lot of things that were actually um, were building inside of me, because I had no way of releasing them or talking to somebody, unless I talk to the seniors in church, or somebody I trust, or somebody who is a psychologist or a counselor. And in the process, we've already then been to 2 or 3 counseling sessions together, and with hope that those counseling sessions will actually help somewhere, maybe each one of us to find to actually internalize whatever that we're learning from the counselor, so that we can actually go and sit down and do some form of introspection. So that was my whole wish, as I prayed, that eventually this will pass, and when I speak to my friends, I'll always, get, encouragement from them that, this will also pass. They will perhaps tell me, we've been to this, it will also pass with you as well. And in some cases, even though I was pregnant, I'll have to be the one that, buy the groceries. If we do go to the mall together, he will sit outside, I'll go inside and do the shopping, fill up the trolley. I'll have to push the trolley myself to the car. I'll have to unpack the grocery in the car, and he will just go sit inside, and while I'm unpacking. And on the other hand, I'm like 6-7 months pregnant, and he was not even worried about that. And when I get home, I'll have to again offload the groceries. He would just watch as I do that. That did not bother him. Less did I know that is also some form of an oppressive nature of his character towards me. But my focus was on building. It was not on destroying. And even when we pray, I would actually always pray, that God will actually eventually rescue. The signs that already this time, as I was doing my research, I could see them that, the split budget was a sign. is of financial abuse. Making decisions without me being part of those decisions was emotional abuse. Allowing his family to talk behind my back in his presence was a sign, also in the presence of my children, that he did not have the mind to actually protect me, or even defend me in that case, in that matter. And if we had to take the matter to church, he would always blame victim, and also using spiritual abuse as a form of oppressing me as a woman. I found that the church was, at fault not to look at things outside the box. They would actually pick and choose who they listen to, which case do they listen to positively. So I felt that the church was not doing things the right way. So that is actually my background in this video today that I've just discussed, but I'm going to add more videos as I progress with my story, because this is more of a shortened version of my 23 years old relationship. We were married 20 years, actually 21 years, but in a relationship for 23 years. So I'm going to share in all these videos like the step-by-step telltale signs of abuse to women, and this is what I want young women out there to be alert, to be aware of. When people start to control you, start to make decisions for you, is actually the big sign, that you should actually maybe take one step back in that relationship, or seek counsel or seek advice from somebody that you trust if you pick up this form of signs. Because even the church could not pick them up. I wouldn't know why, but the church could not pick up these signs, and they would actually strongly tell me that I must forgive, and I must, it's like I must forgive and forget. At the same time, I must be submissive. So those were the things that were directed to me as a woman. But you will actually not hear when your husband is being disciplined. That will not be done in your presence, and that left a gap, on my side, because I don't know whether he was disciplined, or whether did they say anything to him, because when he comes home there is no change. He is still the same. He will repeat all these things over and over again. So yeah, this is the end of today's video, and I'm going to share going forward more videos as time progresses.